The small capex.
Hmm.
The company is expected to make a revenue of 16 to 1700 crores of rupees in 2025.
Operating at like a 45% capacity utilization. So why give them more money? Why give them capital?
And the book says that you should be pre-plastic, you should not be anti-plastic. Had you been anti-plastic, you would have ruined your jungles. Again, we have a dip of crude oil to the tune of, say, the crude oil comes down by 75%. So we may end up with a beta of 2%,
Hmm.
but it will never be a negative EBITDA again.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for choosing to watch our podcast. Want to tell you in advance that for the first 15 to 20 minutes, the audio is corrupt because when the videographer gave it to us, it wasn't clear at all. And we tried our best to clean it, cleanse the audio, and we even added subtitles because we don't want any detail, any information to be lost when the promoter speaks. If you are already familiar with that, if you want to directly go into about the acquisition, about Shiva Texfab, and how the plastic industry is going to evolve, you can directly skip to the 21st minute and watch it from there on. Thanks.
Hi everyone. Today we are with Mr. Akhil Malhotra, the CMD of Rudra Ecovation. It's a very interesting company, something different compared to maybe 35, 40 companies that we have previously discussed and spoken to. They are into recycling. It's a pretty old company, market cap of around 700 crores. What they do is that they recycle PET, the plastic bottles, and manufacture fabric out of it. So thank you very much for having us here.
So firstly, I want to start off. How did you start this journey? Because recycling back, let's say 20 years ago, 15 years ago, wasn't that fancy, right? So, what was your educational background and why did you start? Why did you come into this field?
So basically, some things are destined. I am born and brought up in Ghana. My qualification was from Secretariat Common School, Ghana. I joined my father's business. It was a textile graduate and running a textile machinery engineering workshop. I joined my father in 1980 at the age of 16. I joined my father's workshop, and from there to 97, I was into manufacturing of textile machinery spare parts and textile machinery for all the corporates like Vardhaman, Nahar, and UCP, and everybody. The products which I was manufacturing were mostly import substitutes.
Okay.
There was a lot of machinery coming from Switzerland, Japan, and Europe at that time. So there was a huge shortage of quality spare parts for these machines, and we were one of the leading substitute suppliers for basic goods substitutes in these all these goods.
Okay.
So for 17 years, I worked with my father in the industry, and the mindset was totally new. But I could hardly see the level of growth I wanted in that industry.
Yeah.
So I started with a small spinning industry in 97.
1997. Okay.
After a span of 6-8 months, I could realize that the value addition I was making in the engineering industry was multi-folds. And in spinning, the value addition was very small.
Okay.
See, whenever you make a product, the selling prices are generally governed by the market forces, and labor and power costs are the same for everyone. Get big, something big, you need to look at the long term. How you can play with the long term. So that we are into spinning of acrylic, and I, being a supplier, spare part supplier to all these plants, acrylic fiber plants also, big quota. I could see huge quantity of waste lying in their plants for which there was no buy. So I started buying that waste from them at a throwaway price, and I designed a small processing plant in house from my own workshop at that time. And I could see the results were excellent. So with that, my growth story started, and my capacity by 2003 2004 was almost 30 times the capacity I started with.
You started in 1997.
97. I started with only 800 spindles.
Okay.
In 2003, I was having almost 25,000 spindles running on that. 2004-5, acrylic fiber was going out of fashion. Polyester started becoming more prominent,
Yeah.
being a cheaper fiber. So I had gone to China to buy some fancy yarn machines to convert this acrylic into some fancy yarns, where I saw this polyester recycled fiber was being manufactured over there, which was generally being used for polyfills. It was very poor in quality.
Polyflakes.
Polyfills for the mattresses and pillows.
Mhm.
They were making that fiber from the bedworking waste and using it for mattresses and pillows.
Okay.
So that gave me an idea that if the bottle has been converted into fiber, now the only task left for me is to convert this fiber for spinning.
Yeah.
So I visited at least 10-12 plants in China who were making this fiber for the polyfills.
Okay.
And they were also making some trials to convert it to spinning fiber. Although they were not successful, very successful at that time for that. But the trials were going on. So I started working on it. I designed a plant in 2008, which I was of the opinion will be able to give me a quality of virgin fiber from the recycled bottles.
Okay.
I placed the order with the Chinese company at that time, and with the condition that my design will be patent and they will not sell that design to anybody for 3 years after my delivery. So in 2009 and 10, we got the plant.
Okay.
Some components were developed from Germany, some components were developed indigenously, and some part was brought from China. 2010, when we started the production, it was very encouraging.
2010 you started the production.
Yes.
2008 you bought the machinery.
8 I placed the order.
Placed.
9 we got the plant.
Okay.
9 and 10, early 10, we started the production, and the results were very encouraging.
Okay.
The quality of the fiber which we got was equal to virgin fiber.
Okay. What is virgin fiber?
Virgin fiber is basically polyester fiber which is made through chemical reaction, basically, or this polymerization.
Okay. So you're saying that the recycled plastic was as good as the virgin, like completely new.
Completely. See,
Okay.
basically, fiber is made, this polyester fiber, when we say it is made, generally worldwide, it is made by PTA MEG. It is basically put into this root है इसमें उसको mix करके and they make granules. They straight away make a fiber or they make PET chips out of it. So that's a separate process. It is basically, we can say that process is reactors के अंदर इसको डाल के इसको mix करके इसका fiber और PET bottle के chips बनते हैं. Then these fibers they go for textile industry and the chips they go for bottle manufacturing.
Okay.
So now in our process what we do is we cut the bottle, we wash the bottle, then we cut the bottles to flake, and then we go for a melt room to make these fibers. So with that melt room I was able to make the fiber which was being made by the Virgin.
And this was in 2011 to 2010.
In 2010, I was the first one to bring in a technology which was able to produce high density fiber.
High density fiber
Fiber from the sacred bottles.
in India.
In India.
Okay.
In 2010, we started with this. Immediately, I placed an order. I brought it 2 lines. Immediately, I placed the order in 10 only. I placed the order for another 2 lines to the Chinese side.
Because it was all booming. Whatever you were doing, they were being bought. Okay.
Now, 2011, I placed the order for B2B plant, bottle to bottle plant, which is people are brought in today. 2011, we brought in this B2B plant with SSP in the country.
SSP?
Solid state polymerization.
Okay.
Where you increase the IV of the recycled chips. We brought that plant. In 2011 and 12, we brought in the first POI plant, recycled POI plant, from wet bottle plates. 2013, we brought in technical textile plant where we started making carpets and technical textile fabric, geo fabrics from recycled fibers.
Okay.
14, we were in the process of setting up a plant for fabric, which we say Anaura today.
Yeah. I want to come back to this, what exactly happened between 2014 and 2024. But this journey, from what I understand, is you were a first mover in many areas. Okay, like there were some incidents that after 2014 that impacted. But before we come to that, let's, for the audience, I want you to explain what is it that you exactly do currently. What are your raw materials? What is your finished products, and who do you supply them to? Like what category of consumers or businesses?
See, we have a business model which is completely a unique model which nobody else has in country right now.
Okay.
We are a model. I'm proud to say that we have a model where the PET bottles are going in, and the end products are fiber, yarn, carpets, technical geo fabrics, and then this Anaura, this little fabric, filaments. All these products are coming out under one roof.
Okay.
So you will not find this model anywhere in China either, which we have created over a period of time. That bottles are brought in, then washed, crushed into flakes, converted to fiber. Fiber goes to spinning plants. Spinning makes yarn. Yarn is sent to either to the market or to the knitting plant, where knitting plant creates Anaura fabric. And some of the fiber is straight away going to technical textile division, where we are making geo fabrics, shoe lining fabrics, leather backing fabrics, and then carpets, exhibition carpets. Some of the flakes they are going to POI line, where we are making directly filament. Filament is either being sold to the market or is converted into fabric. So this is the model we have.
Okay. Look, you've given us the entire value chain. I want to come back on the PET bottles. Interestingly, I looked at the US data, and the bottles, most of the plastic bottles, is made out of PET, polyethylene terephthalate, right? And only 29% of the bottles that is consumed in the US is recycled. In India, it's very surprising that it's at 82%. And it's correct my understanding. Okay, what I've learned is that this recycling rate is so high because you've got the rag pickers who collects garbage, and then they sort out the bottles on their own, and they sell it for like 15, 17 rupees per kg to the kabadi wallas. The kabadi wallas then do a markup and sell it at around 20, 25 rupees to the traders per kg. This is, and then the traders sell it for like anywhere between 30 to 35 rupees per kg to the organized players. And if my understanding is right, you buy it from the organized players then.
That's absolutely right, Shiva. See, let me tell you one thing.
Yeah.
This 80% figure, which is actually very good for the environment, has not happened in a year or 2 years period. This collection in 2010 in India was also 30-35%. When I started, I was buying PET bottles from the organized players at 60 rupees a kg. See, when the demand, there were more and more recycling plants coming. Demand for the PET bottles was growing, and the prices of the waste was also growing. So, with the growing price of the waste, that attracted the rag pickers to pick the bottles. Today, 80% bottles which you say are being collected. In coming time, the collection will go up to 90-95%.
Yes.
Because now there is awareness. The government is working around the clock for the environment. Now people have aware. You might have seen that there are separate dustbins being lying at airports, railway stations where you need to drop the bottle in.
Different dustbin is a very new concept in India.
Yes.
The Europe, in the western side, there is. It's been there for more than 50 years.
Yeah. See, in some areas we are more organized than Europe.
Certainly.
So we need to be proud of it. We have to elaborately tell everybody that some areas we are even more better than US and Europe. It's like collection of 80% bottles and recycling of 80% bottles. We are doing it. And we are today the type of products we are making out of these things. That is, and the type of growth we see in these products, it is only going to happen in our country in coming time.
So on this recyclability bit, why do you think you will grow? You said you are probably the most unique company, probably even compared to China, you're the most unique company because you've got and it's integrated. It's like 99%, 100% integrated. Okay, like what is is it because of the government policy that they're telling plastic companies to go into recyclability, that's where you come in? Or is it that they're giving you incentives to recycle? What is the main trigger for you as an industry?
Sreeram, this is an interesting story. Initially, the recycling was brought in by me not because I wanted to be a recycler, because I wanted to make money.
Yeah.
See, and the period of 2014 to 2020 was a period when I was working day and night to improve the quality of the recycling to the tune that when I take this product to the market, I tell them that this is made out of virgin, not recycled, and that customer accepts it.
Yeah.
The problem I was having at that time was that when the product was developed equally good to virgin, but I was tagged a recycler. Everybody knew I was a recycler. So even if I was taking a product which was equally good to virgin to the customer, he was saying, no, you are a recycler, this is recycling. But now there is a different story after the FIFA World Cup and the cricket team, they're wearing this team and everything. When we take this product to the customer and say this is recycling, they say, no, this is virgin. Because it is equally good to virgin. So, see, the things have turned in our favor after 2020, when this drive started for the sustainable. Although we didn't started with the idea that we will achieve all these things, but this came as a bonus to us that there was a drive for the sustainable, and we became one of the main sustainable players because of the environmental issues. Otherwise, we had initially set up this unit to make money from the recycling waste to the
because of the margin players.
But now we are getting a response where the people are ready to pay us premium from the virgin on the sustainable.
Because it's a brand marketing gimmick for them as well.
Yes. Now, see, every brand, they are pledged. Like IKEA, Reebok, Nike, H&M, everybody is talking about sustainable. I cannot name, but yesterday I was talking to a corporate. So my sales head for the fabric. He just gave a brief introduction to a very big corporate in India who's flying uniforms to all big institutes, taking tenders from the government.
Okay.
So he was giving. He says, "Where is your company? I'm looking for this company. I'm desperate. Let me have a word with your chairman." So I had a word with him. He said, "Sir, I'm rigorously. I was looking for a vendor who could give me this Aurora fabric, recycled sustainable fabric. So I would like to meet you at the earliest because I'm desperate to convert this all to sustainable." So the things have changed in passage of time.
Like within the last 4 years, this recyclability, ESG, sustainability has become very sexy. There is no other word for it because everyone is leaning into it. You see an investor, you see the Gen Z population, they're all leaning into sustainability. And
See, it is it is an interesting subject today,
yeah,
but it has been a painful subject for us in the past when we were there making all these developments.
Yeah.
But it is not so easy to recycle a PET bottle into a fabric. You need to have we have had very bad tastes also on the development in the past.
yeah,
It is after the research of a rigorous 10 years that we have reached this level. So it is not everybody's cup of tea that to set up this plant and to come up with these products. I tell you, we started this in 2008.
that's where what I wanted to come to. This was my follow-up question. In March, like financial year 2014, you were doing like 130 crores in revenue. And now in March 2024, financial year 2024, you did a revenue of 20 crore top line. Okay, and that's a drastic fall. While at the same time, I was looking at your borrowings, your debt size. It was like 150 crores odd, if I'm not wrong, and now it has come to nearly 8 crores, 7 crores. So it's a drastic fall in top line as well as debt. So what really stopped you from growing from 2014 to 2024? Was it the debt or was it any other issue?
See, 2014, there was a drastic fall in the crude oil prices.
Okay.
That crude oil prices fall since we are basically governed by the Virgin Five. I earlier told you.
Yeah.
The prices of the government. Today also, if I go to sell my Anaura to some corporate, he says, "Sir, I am ready to pay you a premium of 10% than the premium on the Virgin."
Sorry, sir. Just to interject, Anaura is the garments that you manufacture.
No, it is not garment. It is the fabric.
Fabric that you manufacture.
We see. Let me explain you about Anaura. See, when you say fabric, Anaura is basically a substitute of the fabric. It is like a fabric. It serves the purpose of fabric. But I say it is Aurora, it is not fabric. I have a reason to say that. When you make a fabric, you are somewhere playing with the planet, making a fabric.
Yeah.
Either you cut a tree, or you basically go by the crude byproduct, or you shave a sheep. All the three cases, you are playing with the planet. But making an aura, I am simply collecting the waste from the planet, making it clean and making an aura. So an aura is an honor of wearing, sustainable, where you enjoy fashion and comfort equally.
Okay.
So I say, I make an aura, I don't make fabric.
Okay. Understood. So now coming back to the question from 2014 to
2014, see, we were in the process of launching this Aurora. The building was made, some of the machines that come, some of the pipeline. We had a crude oil dig. So crude oil dig, we also suffered a stock loss in that. But from 2003 to 2014, we had grown multi-folds and the bankers were very supportive. I had 7-8 bankers at that time, which were social banks. And I still remember that if I used to ask the consortium that I need turnover of 100 crores. So I used to get 8 letters of 100 crores from 8 bankers. Everybody and the chairman of the banks, they used to come to my office with a box of fruit, a box of sweets. Sir, please take our money. This was the temperament they had. 2014, all the bankers, they wanted back their money first. All the support was gone.
No box of sweets.
These sweet voices, they turned sour voices. And it was a tasteless experience, a bitter taste, dealing with that. So the first thing was get rid of them. Let us first finish the debt. Settle it out, finish the debt. Then we'll start with the growth story afterwards. The 14 to 22, we were working hard and only reducing the debt.
Okay.
Whatever money we were making, we were making the money, giving it to banks. So we cleared all the banks. Now, again, when 22, we decided to grow again, to fly our plane on the runway we had created.
Yeah.
Now, the next issue was the technology development. The technology in last 10 years has changed. China has developed it to the extent that our old technology, what we were having, it was very difficult to start the story with the old technology. Because in fabric, what happens is that it is not that the fabric sells. It is the fashion and the comfort which sells. And in fabric, everybody wants something new every day. So, China, with the new technologies they have brought in, they were giving new fabrics every month to the market.
Fabric, not designs. Fabric.
Fabric.
Okay.
There is an import of, unofficial figure is around 8,000 tons of fabric every day. You would cry from the entire industry that we are being killed, we are dying from China.
That's it.
Government has even placed MIP on some of the product side in on 21st of March this year. But for us, it is not, it has to be a story which has to sustain. It should not be a story like Hindustan Motors and Prithviman company did with the Indian public. That they were making that old car, they didn't do a single improvement in the cars. They used to just fix 2 lights in the front and say this is now Mark II. They used to increase the bumper size and Mark IV, but no improvement was made in the engine. So when Maruti came in 80s, they were finished in months.
Yeah.
Right? So it is the same story with the fabric industry. So we were making fear and investors in fabric, and China came in with Maruti and Mercedes in fabric. So now I have brought in that technology of Mercedes and Maruti in my factory, which the trial production has already started, and we will be into commercial production by month end.
Okay.
Yes.
This is the Anaura fabric
Aurora.
you were speaking about.
Yes.
But when I just walked in, I saw garments also with Anaura written on it. That's why I'm asking: is it a brand
See,
of garments or is it just fabric?
Anaura is basically when a brand wants sustainable, she wants a certificate of sustainable. So that certificate we will allow any brand who is making garments from our sustainable to use our Aurora brand. The Aurora fabric is used in this.
Okay.
Aurora is a brand for my fabric.
Got it.
I am not interested in garmenting. I am only interested in fabric. And my growth path is only fabric for आपके this garments and for home furnishing.
So just to recap the conversation what we have until now. So you started your first plant in like 1997. That's how you got into recycling because the margin was huge. And in 2010, 2012, you got new plant and machinery from China. You were like the first mover advantage, whether it is the pet flakes or whether it's fabrics, right? Then you had a tumultuous time from 2014 to 2022, I would say. And now you've improved the technology because to keep up pace with the time. And now you are launching the new fabric, which is called the Anaura fabric, which is
We have already launched. We have
already launched. Now I want to talk about the future.
So on that, I understand that from the public releases that you are purchasing. I wouldn't say acquiring, because on the public it says because you're buying a 21% stake in a company called Shiva Texfab, right? I want to understand what is the agenda, and from what I understand, it's owned by the same promoters.
See, basically, we are the owners of both the companies,
Okay.
promoters of both the
Okay.
companies. The real strength of the business lies in the non-listed entity,
Mm-hmm.
Shiva Texfabs.
Okay.
Now, in the consolidation move going ahead, we have started the merger process of the companies, which is duly informed to the Bombay Stock Exchange. And this is part of the merger process, that funds have been raised in the listed entity, and those funds are being given to the non-listed entity to further modernize their process.
Okay.
By the time the merger happens, that listed non-listed entity has a full-fledged latest technology-based plants to run.
Mm-hmm.
So it is basically a merger arrangement which is happening, where both the companies will be merged shortly.
Okay. Now, as an analyst, my natural question would be, if that is a private company owned by the promoter and is a listed entity where you have, let's say, a stake at like 15-20%, in the private entity, in doing the merger, will you be selling your stake to the...
No, not at all. Not
Okay.
at all.
Okay.
I will not be selling any of my stakes. My stakes in the listed company will increase after the merger.
Your current stake is around 15%, which is very low. So do you plan to increase it significantly?
Yes. It will go up multifolds.
Okay. Got it. That's interesting. But you said that you're raising capital. You raised capital. You did I think 24% dilution was happened in the listed entity. Okay, you should like 2 lakh odd shares, 2 crore odd shares you had issued. Now that fund is being used to the private company's expansion, but private company is operating at like a 45% capacity utilization. So why give them more money? Why give them capital?
This is the reason the money is being given to them to go up to 100%.
Okay.
After they get this money, the complete modernization, which has not happened in that company from last 10 years, it will be totally modernized with new technology machines. See, when we had this hit in 2014, we were under expansion program was going on. Modernizations of the plant were going on again at that in 2014 also. Value-added chain was being built. With that shock coming to us, everything was gone to standstill in 14. Buildings were lying half constructed. Plants had come, they were lying packed in the godowns. So everything was basically at a standstill, and the motive now, the target of the promoters was to pay off all the debts by any means. So the first target was completed. Now we realize that putting in a small capex of 100 crores will increase our capacities by almost double.
Okay.
Because all those unconstructed or half constructed buildings will be brought to use. All those machineries which are lying in the godowns will be implemented now, as well as new technologies will be brought in. So with a very small capex, the company is expected to make a revenue of 16 to 1700 crores of rupees in 2025.
So you did 20 crores. You're saying 8
revenue.
No, 20 crores of what you did in FY24.
20 crores of revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is for the listed entity.
Listed entity.
So now after the merger, the non-listed entity and the listed entity put together consolidated, this revenue is going to be 1,600 to 1,700 crores.
And what margins are you looking at?
15% to 18% EBITDA.
EBITDA. And debt, you only have 6 or 8 crores. So
That
interest
also
cost.
will be gone by that time.
Okay.
Mm.
Okay. See, that's a huge jump, huge difference, huge trigger.
You see, because one two thing is that the half-cooked capex, which was lying idle in the group company, will come to use. Second, the value-added chain of Anaura will start coming to production. And I expect a revenue of 700 to 800 crores from Aurora alone. In 25.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. That is the listed entity currently.
No. It will by 25, so it will be a merged entity. Na?
Okay, but so like, do you want to like this option? Do you want to like separate the revenue expectation that you expect from the current listed entity and current private company?
See, current listed entity, basically listed entity is a entity where we have only spinning. We are making yarn. The non-listed entity is the entity which I am saying the unit of its kind in Asia. Right? Now the non-listed entity did a revenue of 400 plus last year, which is expected to be around 800 plus this year.
Wow. Okay. In FY25.
FY25. Because now the listed entities will be holding a substantial share capital holding in the non-listed entity, so their results can be put together.
Understood.
It will become one of the major stakeholders in the non-listed company.
Okay. So the non-listed doing around 800 crores.
Will do 800 this year.
Okay. And merged entity doing like 1600 crores. Together 1600 crores. So the current listed company would be doing around 800 crores or 700 crores.
No. Current listed company, there is no expansion in the listed company. Because the main focus is on the unlisted entity where all the facilities are right now available. Where you are just to put to use by upgrading the technology and by completing the uncompleted plants which were left idle in 2014.
Got it, sir. So basically, to summarize, you had during the expansion phase back in 2014, you got a lot of machinery, okay, top notch, but it was like half finished, okay. And then now you're getting capex, you're getting funds through the listed entity to the unlisted company to revive that machinery and really restart the entire capacity. And you've got sufficient demand on the other side to utilize this capacity.
Yes.
And as a merged entity, you're looking at like a 1600 crore top line plus 16 more than 1600 crore top line. And through this merger, you are expecting to increase the promoter holding multifold from the current 15% level.
Right.
Correct?
Right.
Great. And so now completely shifting. From what I understand, there's something called ERP or RP. Okay, there's a term. It's like carbon ERP, EPR, yes, EPR, and it's similar to carbon credits in the Europe region or the US. Can you explain this, because this is a relatively new concept for me, based out of India?
See, EPR is extending the producer's responsibility.
Okay.
This EPR has been brought in by a very intelligent brain. I don't know who is the inventor of this thing, but might be a very intelligent person who brought it.
Okay.
So the whole idea of this extended producer's responsibility is that the entire industry in the country will buy credits to the tune of usage of plastic from the EPR exchange every year to renew their pollution licenses.
Okay.
Like I say, industry which is an automobile industry, but is using plastic in the packaging.
Yeah.
Will have to buy the quantity of plastic used.
Okay.
Say 1000 kgs of plastic is used by automobile industry to pack the automobile components which they are selling to the market. So now they'll have to buy credits worth 1000 kgs from the EPR exchange every year to get their pollution license renewed. So on the other hand, the recyclers
That's
of
you.
that plastic, they will sell those credit points on the exchange. So in turn, the user will give money through the exchange to the recycler.
Mm-hmm. Understood. And that will improve your margins.
That is going to definitely improve our margins.
Okay.
So you understand one thing. Today you see the collection and usage of bottles in India is 80%.
Yeah.
Now the people who are making PET bottles for Bisleri and Bisleris using PET for bottles and Coca-Cola and everything, they have to buy EPR to the extent of 100%.
Wow.
So recycling value is 80.
Yeah.
Licenses required is 100. So what will happen is the price of the EPR will keep growing and encouraging the recycler to collect the waste even at a expensive price with the support of that money. So what will happen is when that support will through EPR, that money will come to the recycler. Recycler will have a power to buy that waste even at expensive price using that money, and the entire waste gets recycled in the chain.
Understood. Like Tesla, for example, in I think financial year 22, more like the reason that they reported profits was because they sold their carbon credits. That was the main source of profit.
So see, same thing similar is going to happen in this recycling
Yeah.
industry also. I see government is coming up with new circulars, new policies every day, where they are keeping a watch on the prices of the EPR. Watch in the sense they want that the prices of the EPR should go up now. The recyclers should get the benefit. The intent of the circulars, the content is that the intent of the government is to that the recyclers should get the benefit. Somebody was telling me a week back that now they have put up some audit teams. CP Central Pollution Control Board has put up some audit teams so that no duplicate EPR can be used. The real recycler should get the benefit.
Yeah.
So all these things are going on side by side.
Wonderful. So that's a big move.
So there's another exchange which is going to open very soon for us. That is plastic credits. Plastic credits is again another exchange which we are going to get incentives for hill-bound plastics and ocean-bound plastics. Like we have already started buying ocean-bound plastics.
Okay.
Ocean-bound plastic is any plastic collected within 30 kilometers of the ocean is ocean-bound plastic.
30 kilometers of the ocean from the coast. Okay.
So that is the ocean-bound plastic. So there is a different incentive for the ocean-bound plastics. There is a different incentive for the hill-bound plastics, which exchanges have already started opening in Singapore and US, where this plastic credit is going to be traded. So all these things are going on. The future of the recycling is, I see a very good future in this.
From my understanding, you are recycling about 85 to
88 lakhs.
88 lakhs of bottles, plastic bottles per
Every day.
Okay. And you're saying that you save 145,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide.
Right.
I feel that's a small number currently and the scope for expansion, because in Punjab itself, there are 70 million metric ton of carbon dioxide that is produced with the state that you are operating in. So that is only like you're covering just 2.9% of Punjab's emission, to put in numbers. So one pillar of growth that you said is this EPR that the government has brought about, this carbon credits. So the focus on recycling and your incentive to recycle will be much higher. Then the social change, that inclinations towards recyclability are paying higher for recycled fabric than virgin fabric. Any other pillars are there that I'm missing out which would lead to your growth or the industry growth?
See, I think the biggest stake is that when the brands they pledge to sell 100% sustainable, and other side the government supports to recycle the entire plastics being generated, I think no more pillars are required.
Got it. So those two pillars you're saying are well strong now.
Basically, see, when the brands say they want to sell sustainable, from where is the sustainable going to come then? Who are the producers?
Hmm. Absolutely. Now, so there's a saying amongst us that if you don't see a risk in the business, that itself is the biggest risk. So, in this case, what is the risk that you see? Like opportunities, we spoke about the two pillars. In this business, risk, I feel like what you saw in 2014 is that because of crude prices. So, I want to understand what is your relationship
Yes,
with crude oil?
risk. See, risk in the business is always there.
Yeah.
But one is a calculated risk,
Hmm.
and the other is risk which you never calculated. But till date, the biggest setback I had was the crude oil fall. That was an uncalculated risk at that time for me,
Yeah.
which nobody could calculate in the world, I guess. But for today, for me, that challenge is also calculated
Okay. Explain.
because now I am expanding into a chain where my value addition chain is going to be 500-600%. So even if I have a dip of say 10%, 15% in the raw material price, I can easily absorb that.
This 500-600% meaning your margin just in
I
between.
see when I say 500-600% value added chain is that I buy a bottle at 40 rupees. I sell this fabric at 250 to 300 rupees. So what is the tune of value addition I am doing?
Yeah.
It is 40 to 240, 300 rupees. So
Six times, 7 times.
if I have a say at what I was doing at that time, I was buying bottle at 40 rupees, 50 rupees, and then I was selling yarn at 130 rupees. So the chain gap was two and a half times.
Now that's
So
increased to 6x.
that increased to 6x.
So you're saying that even if some raw material dip or raw material price increases, you have sufficient room in between the raw material price and the finished goods.
I may
absorb it.
and in such a case,
Yeah.
when again we have a dip of crude oil to the tune of say the crude oil comes down by 75%. So we may end up with a beta of 2%, but it will never be a negative EBITDA again.
Great.
If I go through that shock again, now again, see, if you say you don't see any risk, see, whenever there are many risks in the business. Say fire is a risk, labor problem can be a risk, then floods can be a risk. There are many risks, but all are calculated risks. We have made arrangements. Fire hydrant systems are there. We have got all precautionary measures. Firefighting teams are there in the plant. Flood to be away from the floods, water canals are being made in the. See, we have a huge complex. It's a township.
Yeah.
If you say 105 acres of land, it's a township. So we have made all the arrangements in house. 4,000 people are residing inside the factory. So, like Corona came.
Yeah.
Who calculated Corona?
Yeah.
So that types of risks are always there.
Yeah.
But if you say I feel risk from the competitor,
no, that is outside your control.
The type of developments and the type of hard work and innovation we have done in the last 10-12 years, it is not an easy job for a competitor to come and stand with us. Because our R&D and our research and development teams and the technical teams, they are working day and night on developments. If somebody tries to copy us here today, we are here. If he will reach here after 2 years,
you're much ahead of the curve.
We will be much ahead of him after 2 years.
Got it. During what is so how we met is through the Delhi the plastic exhibition which was recently held in the center. So what were your learnings from it? Because you must have seen a lot of competition.
I have had an excellent learning in the plastic recycling. So I met the chairman of this plastic recycling association. He showed me a booklet
Okay.
in which he said, "Sir, this is our research." They printed a booklet, and it is a beautiful booklet and a very practical thing, which he told me. The things were very practical to think upon. They have printed a deserted jungle one side and a green jungle on the other side.
Okay.
And the book says that you should be pre-plastic. You should not be anti-plastic. Had you been anti-plastic, you would have ruined your jungles. What was the substitute of plastic then?
Paper.
Maximum wood.
Yeah.
Even paper you would have made from the wood.
Yeah.
So you would have finished your jungle at that time, by this time. You are having only green jungles because you are using plastics. So you should be more plastic, pre-plastic, pro-plastic, because the only problem in the plastics is that you need to recycle them to make sustainable products in a right manner. Plastics are not bad if you convert them into sustainable in a right manner. You do a proper collection, you convert them. Then plastics are very good. You are saving your jungles. Otherwise, what will you do if you finish your jungles? Just imagine.
Yeah.
Ram, I'll tell you, just imagine your world without plastic. From where will you survive without plastic today? All your packaging is being done in plastic. All today you are getting clothes from plastic. So the plastic is playing a major role. So, and the second thing which he told me was very surprising. He said, "Sir, we have done a research in which the research clearly says that the people who are shouting that the oceans are polluted with plastic, it's only 0.6% of the waste which is plastic waste in the ocean. Rest all is other waste. Because the plastic floats on the water and the other waste is going down the water.
And even oil spillages will be not in the peripherals, it will be in the centers.
In the centers.
Much ahead.
So since people are only seeing that waste is floating, they are saying it is full of plastic. So it is only 0.6% of the total waste in the ocean.
That is plastic.
That is plastic.
Okay. Now, that's a fresh perspective.
That was the biggest takeaway from basically from the exhibition. That person, it was Mr. Patel or something. I don't remember his name. He was the chairman of this this recycling association.
We'll quote it on the video.
Yeah. So, he was a knowledgeable person, and the discussion with him was eye-opening. That was the biggest takeaway. Then the other thing was, we had many corporates coming to us in the exhibition. After seeing Anaura, our discussions are on with many corporates for their worker uniforms, their staff uniforms. We have got a big inquiry of corporates.
Yeah.
And we had corporates like Maruti, multinationals like Indian Oil, Hindustan Petroleum, all coming to our stall this time over there. And 5-star hotels were there for their uniforms from sustainable.
So despite all these MNCs, you keep these MNCs aside, Indian cricket team in 2015, what Nike built for them as the jersey was made out of this recycled fiber. So one jersey had like 33 plastic bottles essentially.
Sreeram, see, today the type of fabric we are making with the recycled bottles is a fabric which, after touching it, after wearing it, you will never come to know it is made out of that bottle.
So last question. What is the cost aspect of it? If I were to buy cotton fabric versus Anaura fabric, what would be the cost difference?
See, the cost difference, if you go to buy it from a H&M store,
okay,
my recycled garment will be expensive than cotton. Because they sell it, the brand is selling it costlier than the normal, saying it is sustainable, and people in Europe, US, UK, they love to buy that expensive.
Yeah.
Because they think this is their social responsibility to buy it.
Yeah.
But coming back to India, we are selling our product at par with the virgin products, because after we finish it, we dye it and finish it. Nobody can make out whether it is virgin or recycled. So we are selling it at par with the virgin.
Okay. So I always had this misconception that recycled fabric would be more expensive than virgin fabric.
Oh, it can be more expensive. See, waste is always cheaper than the virgin, and we are processing waste.
So great. So I think that's all from my side, and
Thank you.
I really appreciate you taking the time. And
Thank you,
so
Sreeram.
much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sorry, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.